I want to turn this state around. I want to revamp our education system from K through 12 to K through 10 with no federal money and no new taxes. I want to repair our broken family court system so that when you lie in court, it is a crime. I want to support new industries like blockchain and open source and hemp and cannabis to support our struggling farmers. You might say these ideas are radical. No, they're bold. We need new, bold ideas to save this state. And this new message is approved by Larry Sharp.
Well, look at that. Back in the day, I had that commercial. It's still good now. I do use that commercial often because it was kind of cool when I put it together. But now, why in the world would I be coming back on all of a sudden tonight, coming back on at 9:30 at night? What? I've been making phone calls these last couple of days. Lots and lots of phone calls these last couple of days. And while I've been making these phone calls, I have been trying my best, excuse me, to raise money because we do have the big money bomb going on right now, and I'm trying to make sure that we are able to make the numbers. As I've mentioned to some of you in the past, the reasons why we have these money bombs is because some of the larger donors, they decide that they'll support me if I'm able to raise this or raise that, and in this case, we have a $20,000 donor. Who will give us $20,000. We are very close to making that goal. We are literally less than $1,000 away. So I'm on right now bugging people to go to this specific link and to click and to try to get me over that hump. Now, to be forward, do I think that he might say, you know what, Larry, you're $1,000 short. I'm not doing it. Maybe. But I think we've done a good job, and I think he probably still will. Probably, but not 100%. But I'm comfortable enough that I'm not going nuts right now. But I would like to do what we set out to do. That would be great. So I would like to make that happen if we could. We are less than $1,000 away. If we get some more people to donate, that would be amazing. I'm hoping that we could actually do that. Now, why would we want to do this? The number one reason is polling. You and I both know if we poll and we poll well, all of a sudden now the media goes, wait a minute, Larry Sharp's a player? The polls said so. So I guess I am. It doesn't matter if I actually am or not. If the polls say so, then we actually are. And that's what we're trying to do. It's important that we actually make that happen. Look, I'm aware that I have to work twice as hard for half the impact. I get it. And again, not trying to get some sympathy out of you. That's not the goal, right? I knew what I was doing. I'm taking responsibility for the actions that I make and responsibility for the decisions that I made. I knew what I was getting myself into. I did this before. I knew the pain, and I'm doing it again. What I'm asking is if we can make this work, which if I'm looking now at where we are something like we're under $1,000 away from making that number. What is it? No, that's actually under 500. Is that right? I'm not sure. We're at like 96% of our goal. So whatever that number is, it's less than $500, less than $1,000, I believe. So if we can make that happen, that really would make it special if we could do that kind of thing. So if you guys can do me a favor, because I know many of you who are watching now have already given, and I appreciate that. So if you could like and comment and share so that other people could see what I'm talking about. If other people would jump on board and go, hey, wait a minute, Larry's only, he's less than $1,000 behind. Let me throw some cash in here and get him over the top, right? If you want to click that link, you can see it's open. Click the link. You'll see where we are. If we can make that number, life will be good. If you want to go ahead and do that, feel free. It's right there if you want to look at it. So that's what I'm trying to achieve. So let me touch a couple pieces. There was some news today. Interesting news today. Today. About Chris Cuomo losing his job. Now, is it 100% that he'll be losing his job? 99.9 is what I would say. So he's losing his job. So that's two Cuomos out. Yeah. So we're on our way out. This is a good thing. Now, can we get Hochul out? That would be nice. How do we do that? Let's be clear about something. The way we do that is by creating a coalition against establishment Democrats. You might say, Larry, well, she's a Democrat. All the Democrats love her. Not true. There's a lot of unhappy Democrats. And I think if you look at what happened in New Jersey, if you look at what happened in Virginia, I think you will see that there are a lot of unhappy Democrats. There really are. They don't like what she's trying to do. They don't like what she's trying to achieve. So I think there is a difference here. So let me, if I could, let me try to find her most recent one, if I could. I'll find this now. I can find this now. Hold on. I think we will enjoy. There we go. Here she is. She is going to be providing us, because she cares about us tremendously. She is going to be telling us about how she's going to deal with the COVID, right? Because people always want the Tuesdays with Andy. I know we always do. So I'm going to give you a little bit, if I can, of Wednesdays with Kathy, but it's Tuesday, so I guess Tuesdays with Kathy. We'll see. I'll give you a little bit.
Corrections have been made, so we're all set. Sorry for the delay in getting started. I hope you all had a magnificent Thanksgiving holiday with your families.
Now she pulls out this book and says, magnificent holiday with your families, when she told us that our kids should be masked at the dinner table. That's what she said. I hope you had a magnificent, time with your family. If you could recognize your kids behind the masks, then great. Otherwise, whatevs.
It was great to be able to gather in person. My family was fully vaccinated and fully boosted, so I felt very secure with them. And it was great to see my father, who I hadn't seen in a long time, from Florida. So now we've officially begun the holiday season.
Look at that.
You know what that looks like. It's an exciting time. It's a happy time, but it's a time of caution for us right now. People be gathering more indoors. People are traveling more. People are seeing family members they haven't seen in a long time who may or may not be vaccinated. So we'll be talking.
Because all that matters is that. It doesn't matter that you want to see and hug and hold and be with your family. That doesn't matter. That doesn't matter. Just get vaccinated.
About some of those issues in a few minutes, but right now I wanted to talk about the new variant, which has been dominating the news. We are watching this very closely out of South Africa, watching to see whether or not there is a case here in New York.
Now, do I care about a variant? I do. And you should too. It is a thing. I go back to the thing I keep saying again and again and again. Why in the world would you make this your priority? This is literally the number 6 or 7th out of 10 killers in the United States. 1 and 2 is like heart disease and cancer. Why is this what you're leading with? Suicide on the rise, overdose on the rise, crime on the rise. And this is what you're leading with? In fact, this is your entire thing? I don't get why this is your entire thing.
I said Friday, I fully expect it to arrive. We have notification that it has arrived in Ontario, which is literally across the bridge from where I live. I can see Canada from my house. And
she did I can see Canada from my house. She did a Sarah Palin. She literally did a Sarah Palin and wasn't even joking. She just said it. What did we think up when Sarah Palin said it? We thought it sounded dumb, didn't we? Yeah, we did. This doesn't sound good either. I'm just saying, it doesn't sound good either. So some guys give me a couple of comments. I'm going to grab a couple of these comments if I could. Avi says, hey, Larry, threw a few bucks to you this past week. Thank you, my friend. Every little bit counts. Ordinarily, I don't political figures to political figures, but you make sense and are genuine in fixing New York as the crap hole has become. If you don't fix it, nobody will. Sadly, I think you're right. I hope we can fix it. Yes. Shelly says 19,200 is 90% of 220K. So yes, so we're about $700, give or take, away in that area. So yes, we're almost there. I appreciate that. So Flying Rich, how are you, my friend? Michelle says the empire is crumbling. Yeah, it is. Yes. Michelle says this is Tuesday, so without any Cuomos. I love that. Very good, Michelle. That's really good. I love that. I love that very much. All right. Avi, Larry, did you see that the Rubin Report with its company locals are relocating from LA to Miami? Oh, I didn't know that. I'm actually on Locals. You guys can go to Locals. You'll see me, Larry Sharp. I am on Locals. I hate to be pessimistic, but New York City is done and not what it used to be. This is a problem. They're all leaving. They're going to Florida and Texas like there's no tomorrow. A little bit also to Tennessee. And if you're in crypto specifically, you're going to Wyoming. But that's really only crypto, if that makes any sense. They're becoming a very positive crypto state. And I think South Dakota may follow them soon. So people are going to these states with no income tax, these states where you can be safer and better. I mean, I agree. Of course. I mean, the funny thing is when I was on a Rubin Report, for those who don't know, his studio was actually a part of his house. So when you go to his studio, you actually go to a part, it's a section of his house, which is the entire built out studio than the rest of his house. So he'll move someplace and that's where he'll go. He will go someplace, like that. Of course he will. So Shelly says her dad left New York. Yeah, Shelly. Yeah. You would think if you're helping to run New York, your dad wouldn't have moved to Florida, huh? But your dad moved to Florida like my mom moved to South Carolina. It's horrible. Yes. Yeah. Michelle says Pelosi just bought a home in Florida too. Yeah. She's from California. Why isn't she, trying to make stuff happen? I don't get it. I don't get it at all. So let me grab a little bit more of our favorite, well, maybe not favorite, but of one of our governors.
Ontario is right there, and there's a bridge crossing that is going to bring, we want to bring our Canadian friends in. They come in with restrictions. They are vaccinated in order to come here. So we hope that as we welcome our neighbors, that they will not be bringing any unwanted guests with them. But
so this is another great thing, right? There's now a travel ban, right? So Biden said travel ban from Africa, 8 countries or whatever. The funny part is when Trump had a travel ban, Biden wasn't for it. He was like, this is never going to work. You can't ban people coming in. And he's right. Trump's ban didn't work. It was too late. And Americans still get to come back. So it didn't matter. What actually wound up happening when Trump did it is a bunch of Americans who were overseas rushed to come home and brought back COVID. And now Biden will do what will happen. A bunch of Americans from Africa will rush back home and bring COVID. It didn't work when Trump did it. And it doesn't do it when it doesn't work when Biden does it. It's not better because your guy happens to do it. If you're a Democrat, you go, well, when Biden does it, it works. With Trump, it doesn't. Or if you're a Republican, when Trump does it, it works. When Biden does it, it doesn't. No, it doesn't work. That's not how it works. You can't just say, well, I guess only non-Americans can't come in. Because the Americans come back, they rush back because they're afraid the border will be shut. So they all rush back and they bring the COVID back. So that's not how it works. So, Joe, well done. I'm already against the next travel ban. Me too. Me too. Let's fix our country with the right protocols so that we can survive in a contaminated environment, as I've been saying for a year and a half.
We have to deal with the realities of a highly transmissible, we believe, variant, Omicron variant. And so I wanted to start with that and to let people know, first of all, we're fully monitoring this. We have
not
some
defenseless
ways to defend against this. We are not defenseless like we were 1 year ago.
We can get vaccinated. We can wash our hands and stuff. Look at that.
We all know exactly what has to happen. We know that it's an issue that we're grappling with right now. We have, the world is paying attention to this. So we're monitoring it globally. We're monitoring it here in New York State.
What's funny is you can tell if you look at her. As much as I didn't like Cuomo, and clearly I did not like Cuomo. I spent more time hammering that man than anybody else. I didn't like him. But at least when he was talking, he had some confidence. I mean, he was full of it, but man, it didn't feel like it was. He was talking with confidence. I get why so many Democrats liked him, because he did exude confidence. So that's true. We felt like, oh, this guy must know what he's talking about. Look at the way he's talking. He clearly has got it under control. Clearly he didn't. But I'm saying that's how it came across. When you see her talk, she feels lost often, like she's over her head. Am I wrong with this? That's how I feel. Like she's like, well, we gotta, and we're monitoring and we're doing, and she repeats herself multiple times. It feels like.
And I want to talk about an institution that does not get the recognition that it deserves, and that is our globally leading Wadsworth Lab. I went and visited Wadsworth Lab during the heat of the pandemic. These are the individuals who worked literally day and night, round the clock, trying to be able to monitor the situation, but also more importantly, conduct the tests, travel, make sure that everyone had what they need to get through the early days of the pandemic. They are our frontline workers.
To make sure,
I want to applaud them.
I love that. These are the frontline workers. She's right. They work day and night, digitally, the whole idea. So if any of them don't get vaxxed, they're fired. What? Yes. This is the part she won't mention. They work day and night and hard and everything. And if they don't get vaxxed, they're fired. Pack your trash. We used to like you. Not anymore. Not anymore. So thanks, but bye. Now I'm hearing also now they're firing correction officers now who don't get vaxxed. So it was fine for the corrections officers to literally be stuck in close quarters in prisons and jails with people who were probably coming in from the outside full with COVID. That was fine. They had to sit there through the year and a half of that. But now, oh, you don't get vaccinated? Gone. Thank you for all your work when we need you most. Now gone. Now it's corrections officers. So it's medical personnel, teachers, and I thought these people were, I don't know, I thought they were all essential. Isn't that what you told me 2 years ago, a year and a half ago? Did you tell me how essential these people were? I guess not that essential. I guess not that essential, or are they essential when you decide that they're essential? And then all of a sudden now you don't. So let's applaud these people as we're throwing them out.
The 700 members of the Wadsworth family who work unbelievably hard, and they're absolutely brilliant. We are so blessed to have the members of the Wadsworth family part of the New York State family. So I wanted to turn over the conversation first of all to hear it from the experts.
I'm not going to hear her go.
I am guided by the experts. I'm guided by the data. I'm guided by the science. And there's an individual, Dr. Kirsten St. George, who's the director of virology.
I'm going to pass on this if I could, please.
Before this variant showed up on the scene, because we knew, and I've been talking about this for weeks, only a month, we knew this winter spike could happen. And so.
Yeah, we did know the winter spike would happen. Why? Because there's always a winter spike literally every single time. Right? Literally every single time. So why are we scared now when it happens every time? Yes. Let me grab a couple of comments here. People are giving me comments. I'm going to grab a couple if I can. So, all right. Shelley says, in prisons, if no one comes to relieve you or shift, you're locked in until someone shows up. Yeah, you can't leave the prisoners. You can't leave them unguarded. They're violent prisoners, not all of them, but many of them are. So, yeah, you can't do that. Now, pack your trash. I know I talk about CEOs a lot. I know I do. But again, my father was one, so I'm a little bit close to that issue, if that makes sense. I'm a little close to that one. But yeah, that's why. Margot says, essential workers are getting fired, but what can we do about it? Serious questions and looking for solutions. The best thing we can do is try to sue. To be forward, it's not easy. It's not easy. Trying to sue is our best bet, but I'm not sure it's even going to work. The best bet in the long run is to make sure this never happens again, to end the entire idea of mandates, to have people talk about how bad they are. They didn't work. Even worse, right? Guys like de Blasio will say they worked because people did the thing. They got the shot. They got vaccinated. So now it worked. My question isn't whether they got the shot or not. My question is, did all of a sudden the deaths go away? Clearly, no. She's telling us that all of a sudden more people are dying, and that's what she's telling us. If that's true, it didn't work. So I wish, Margot, I had a better solution. Sadly, I'm not the governor, and I don't have a big enough bully pulpit to make a change. Hopefully, as I run, the bigger people give me more of a bully pulpit, and I'll talk about it. If I get more of a voice, if people pay attention to me, if the CBSs and the NBCs and the CNNs and the Fox Newses and the Joe Rogans and the Dave Rubins bring me back on in January, which they all should, particularly if I raise enough money to impress them, which is why I'm bugging you all now to make my 20 grand money bomb so I can get a match of 20 grand so that we can make some cash. Then all of a sudden that begins to happen. And then when I start talking, people start listening. That's how it works. I wish it was the smarter I was. It's not. Doesn't matter if I'm smart. What matters is if I'm popular. I know that sounds horrible, Margot, but it's true. If I'm popular, people will listen to me. Why am I bugging you all to make this match? I'm doing it because they're going to judge me by the amount of money I raise. And some of you might go, Larry, you have no chance. The Republicans, Democrats raise millions. Yes, but I'm held to a different standard. To be forward with you, I'm held to a different standard. That's usually a bad thing. In this case, it's not. I don't have to raise $2 million by January. If I was a Republican or Democrat, I better be raising millions of dollars. Otherwise, who the hell am I? But me, I can raise a couple $100,000 and they'll go, whoa, oh my God. And this is the one time where I am judged differently. If I raise a couple $100,000, several $100,000, now they go, oh my God, this guy's a real player, versus being a Democrat or Republican, I've got to raise millions. So this is the one time when my different judgment actually helps. So I hope that was clear. So yeah. Joe says, but Larry, the government has to force medical decisions on frontline workers who've already been doing their jobs for 2 years after the virus started spreading. Yes, absolutely. Yes. Yeah, absolutely. Margot says, thanks, Larry. You have my vote. And I do it. Thank you. I appreciate it, Margot. This is the thing that, Margot, I'm glad you brought this up. You will find some candidates simply tell you what you want to hear. And they'll say something like, well, get all those judges removed and we'll fire all the people who made the decisions and we'll put them all in jail. And they'll yell and scream when none of that's going to happen. I could yell at that if I want to make you feel good and get your blood boiling. None of that's going to happen. I'm going to try to give you real answers. These people respond when they think they may lose their power. If enough people go, wait a minute, this Larry Sharpe guy who was just on so-and-so show, he's right. Oh my God, our governor's wrong. Then she changes. But because I personally say it, she doesn't care at all. Because it's right, she does not care at all. She might get booted. Yes, she cares. Absolutely. Yes, she absolutely does care. So yeah. All right, let me see if I can do this. Let's see here. Nancy says she wants to show like she's ahead of the game. Whatever. Frontline workers, right. Now there's a shortage in the medical field. Yes. And thank you, Nancy. And she's still okay. She's not even saying, wow, I screwed up. I should reverse myself on this one. Look, I would hope I would never make a dumb decision like this. But could I? Yeah, I'm human. I might make a bad decision. It's possible. Here's what I promise you. You've all watched me do this publicly. You've seen it on video. If I make a dumb decision and I realize it's dumb, you know what I'll do? I'll go, man, that was dumb. I shouldn't have done that. Let me reverse it. I've done that before. I've said things I've been wrong about, and I say I was wrong about that. I would do that, Nancy. If I made, God, I hope I never make a dumb decision like this. But if I ever do, and Nancy, you go, Larry, what's wrong with you? Look at this. I will go, you know what, Nancy? You're right. Let me fix this. Because as I've said 1,000 times, and I got to keep saying, I can have you mad at me. I can have you think I'm wrong. I can have you disagree with me in specific situations. And many of you do. But what I can't have is you not trust me. That I can't have. So I have to make sure that I'm doing what I believe is correct the whole time, even if you think I'm wrong. I would rather you, Nancy, go, Larry, that's just wrong. And me go, okay, I got it, but I believe it. You'll think I'm wrong, but you'll still trust me. And then if I turn around and go, you know what, Nancy, I was wrong. I got to fix this. You go, good, Larry, thank you. And we just move on. You don't go, Larry was a jerk, lying to me. You just go, no. He thought, he learned, he changed. He's human. So thank you for that. I appreciate that. Dan says, do you support nuclear power and support increasing its usage? 100% yes. My energy plan includes the idea of putting nuclear power plants in North Country. And I am very aware that that is controversial. I am very aware that some people be against it, but it's Gen 4. I will put 3 of them in the North Country to the best of my ability. I will have to fight the feds, but it is totally worth it for several reasons. 1, nuclear power in North Country means if we get 3 nuclear power plants there, imagine the jobs that will rush to North Country. These are real good jobs that are not government jobs. Not just that, the power plants are built by private companies, so the taxpayer doesn't pay, and they'll get built in time and not 75 years to get built. They'll get built on time, and they'll have to lease the land from us, so we'll make money. We will make money because they will be leasing the land from us. Not just that, part of the deal is part of that, part of the energy that is sold. Some of that cash will come to New York State to create a fund to pay for other things like Medicaid, Medicare, lowering the burden on the local county so they can actually have a surplus at the county level. You can maybe lower your tax burden, change what you want to do, fix your roads, whatever you want to do at your local area. Note, I don't decide that. You do locally. I'm still not done. If we do that right, we build jobs, as I said, sell energy, which is awesome, but it means we're not buying energy. Right now, New York State has to buy energy. We don't have to buy any energy. Isn't that good? Self-sufficient. That'd be great. And lastly, we now can create green blockchain mining, which means crypto can rush to here and mine all day. Green, 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 green. Yes. Yes, yes, and yes. I hope I answered your question. But yeah, I'm all in, even though I know, Dan, it will be difficult, challenging, and some people watching probably think I'm wrong. The advantages to this state are so high. This state's so broken. There's simply no other way except things like this. So thank you. Hope that answers your question. Let me go a little bit more with her if I can.
We are correct. The spike is occurring. You can see the number of people that are testing positive. We look at cases per 100,000 on a 7-day average. Look at some of these numbers, particularly upstate, Western New York, 65.
This is the part that bothers me tremendously. The actual idea of cases, to be forward with you, is actually relatively unimportant. It's irrelevant. It doesn't matter. Why? Death is what matters. What if you were to say, well, 1,000 people a day in New York State get the common cold? That would be bad. Having a cold would suck. I don't want you to get a cold, but you're not going to die from it. You'll get a cold. It'll suck for a little bit and you move on. Now, if you're over 80 and you got issues, then that might turn into pneumonia. That's different. But again, same concept, right? That age range, that could hurt. But the average New Yorker can get a cold, and it doesn't really matter. I'm not saying it's the cold. What I'm saying is the idea of a case doesn't matter. What matters is who's going to the hospital, who's dying, who's having damage. That is what matters. And we're not talking about that now. We're focusing on cases.
Positive cases per 100. Some of the other hotspot areas are the Mohawk Valley, North Country, and so we've been directly engaged with their elected leaders. I literally just got off the phone a few moments ago with the leaders of the Western New York region. I'll be speaking to the other regions, the mayors, the county executives, their public health teams, saying to them, as we have from the...
Do we understand how bad this entire concept is? What are you talking about, the actual people? No, it's only the leaders. So that matters. It's the political leaders. That's it.
Very beginning. We're here to help you. This is what we're doing. We encourage you to do the same. And let us know where you need more testing kits, where you want more sites.
Who's paying for the testing kits? How are we rebuilding our economy? How are we getting our kids into a decent school system? How are we recovering on the small businesses that got destroyed? How are we dealing with the black market or the violence? How are we dealing with any of that? Not even in her world. Not even in her world. How are we dealing with inflation? How are we dealing with inflation and gas prices? Not even in her world. Not even
whatever
in her
we
world.
Can do. We believe that the pop-up sites are very effective, but we're going to be layering in more mass vaccination sites for other individuals. There are some tough areas. We have been very successful in many parts of our state, encouraging people to get vaccinated.
If you're very successful, then why are we still doing it? It's like saying our plan's working perfectly, so let's keep going. It's right. Am I wrong with my logic? If I'm off, guys, tell me. She's going to go off now into her region and such, hospital beds. I got to cover this hospital bed piece. This thing drives me crazy. Winter spikes. I'm going to cover this in a second, but let me go back to some more of your comments. Let you guys are doing some more comments. I'm going to grab this. John says, $50 from Florida Libertarian. Keep the good fight, Larry. Thank you so much, guys. In fact, let me check right now if I could. I'm gonna see if I can check right now and see how we're doing. Hold on one second. See if it's updated. We are at 99% of our goal. Guys, you're killing it. Thank you. 99% right now. We're almost there. So thank you so much for what you're doing. I appreciate everything. It matters tremendously. Thank you so much. Yes. Let's see here if I can grab this. Ben says, what are your thoughts on human trafficking and open borders? This will make some people unhappy. I know, because libertarians are open borders and the party itself is open borders. I am not open borders. That doesn't matter very much for running for governor. That's not really an issue. I don't affect the border much as running for governor. But as libertarian, that is a place where I disagree with the party platform. The party platform is absolutely open borders. Let's not pretend it is. I do not agree with that part of the platform. My idea, as I've said before multiple times, is to have 2 separate privately owned Ellis Islands on the southern border. So if you want to come to our country, you go to the Ellis Islands. They then check you out. They keep you there for whatever, 14 days or whatever, 30 days, whatever's the amount that's appropriate to do the background check on you, make sure you don't have any disease, whatever, make sure you're not human trafficking people, if the case may be. And if you're good, you're set, awesome. Any states that want to join this plan can now get workers from the Ellis Islands. Well, Larry, how do we pay for it? They get it, right? They get paid. They're private companies, and they get paid like recruiters do. As they place people, they get money. We're out of it. As long as they're following our rules and regulations on safety for the country, check the people out, move them through. Done. Whether that takes 30 days or 14 days, whatever it is, they do that. 2 of them owned by 2 separate companies. This way, if one is bad or negative, people will voluntarily go to the other one. They're going to have to be effective in what they do because they're competing against each other. Now, when that happens, so now the people who are human traffickers, and that exists, that's not the majority of people crossing the border, but they absolutely exist. Those people can't go to the Ellis Islands. They're going to have to cross the border illegally. Well, now we take the current group of people who are trying now to protect the border, just focus on those people. Now the innocent family who's trying to come here for a better life doesn't get caught in this. They go to the Ellis Island. But the people who are crooked, they get caught in the border and they get captured. So you now take no extra cash involved. You take the current amount of people who are working on the border now, and they focus only on the human trafficking aspect. There's no more than getting, regular people caught up in the net. They focus just on human trafficking, just on the bad people, because the bad people can't go to the Ellis Islands. So now the only people crossing the border are going to be the bad people, which is good. We catch them. So that's how we fix that issue. But that's not a New York issue. But you asked, that's what I think about it. That's my plan to make sure that things make sense, if that makes any sense. So he says, well, the Canadian border falls in New York. Yes. But even that is run by Federal Border Patrol. So even that's, not that. So I do appreciate that. Yes. So in any case, hope that was clear. To be clear, I don't want to take anything away from the Libertarian Party platform. It is an open borders platform. I simply do not agree with that part of the platform. So
COVID hospitalizations are trending upward. The number of beds is going downward, and that's a real problem.
The number of beds is going downward. Is that magic? It's going downward because you didn't make any more beds. I talked about this earlier in my show earlier today. She is in charge of the beds. She knew the spike was coming and did not make any more beds. What does it mean, make any more beds? They are controlled with a thing called a certificate of need. The governor decides how many beds are in a state. Well, the government, since you know it was coming, why didn't you go, hey, you know what? Let me make sure I make some more beds. Here's the reason why. It isn't the beds. It's the medical personnel she's fired. They have the beds. They don't have enough medical personnel to staff the beds because you're firing those people because they don't get vaxxed. So it is, again, you creating the problem. Absolutely.
Problem for us. Since we've lost about 4% of our bed capacity since early August, that equates to about 1,580 beds. At the same time, hospitalizations and cases have gone up significantly. So this is what we're monitoring. We've lost, in fact, 70% of the bed losses are in upstate. Upstate lost 10% of its bed capacity. Downstate lost about 2%. So hospitalizations are up. Get this number, 150% upstate versus downstate. Not that I'm trying to create an upstate downstate divide in our state. I don't believe in that, but just
you're kind of doing it, but it's fine. It's already there, right? It's not like you made the divide. You are helping for sure. But I have an idea. How about we let the counties deal with their own hospitalizations the way they want? And if hospitals want to build out beds, they can do so. Not just that. Instead of you deciding to send the National Guard to, I guess, repair or somehow support and replace these people, no. Instead, why don't you tell the local counties, if you're short on beds, allow the National Guard to build you some field hospitals as you see fit. Isn't that crazy? You could just say that. Hey, County A says, look, we're short on hospital beds. Great. We'll send the National Guard to build you out a field hospital. That's not a bad idea. No, we can't do that. Let's fire the unvaxxed. And then, again, the unvaxxed who've been on the front line for a year and a half and somehow survived, let's fire them and then blame the magical way that the
looking at the
went
numbers.
Away.
These are what the numbers we're seeing, and they're very, very troubling. Again, what I'm trying to present also, this is not a statewide phenomenon. It is not a statewide phenomenon. So this is how.
But it's not a statewide phenomenon, but it's you upstate people. But I'm not trying to get divide, but it's not statewide. It's you upstate people. But, no divide. You know what she just did? Yeah. Joe says the beds moving to Florida. Nice. Very nice. Yes. Sam says number of beds going down because they fired unvaxxed. Yes. Steven says just made my 3rd round. Thank you to Money Bomb. Love Liberty. Let Larry lead. Awesome. Absolutely. That's good. Shannon says this lady's causing a panic. Yes, absolutely. What a terrible governor. Yes. And Shelly says leprechauns are sneaking and stealing hospital beds. Damn leprechaun, Shelly. Every day it's a new story. Let's make it up as we go along. Is anyone paying attention except like us? I don't even know.
It's almost, in a sense, easier for us to deal with because we know the targeted areas. We know the areas that we need to deploy the most resources. And that's exactly what we're doing. So I wanted to create a visual to so you can talk about the hospital beds because I'll be talking about the executive.
So you can talk, like I'm going to go and talk about hospital beds. I'm going to go to my wife and say, you know what? Let's talk about hospital beds upstate New York. I'm concerned. Aren't you concerned? I'm so glad that the hospital bed leprechauns have affected people. Yeah, that's not going to happen. That's not going to happen. So let's not cover what she's going to do now. Here's what she's going to do. See if I can get it right here. By the way, let me first check and see. Hold on. Let me quickly see how we're doing with our goal. We made it. Guys, thank you so much for this evening. We actually made it. Thank you so much for those of you who donated. I appreciate it. Tremendously good. Thank you. I appreciate the people. I know Margot gave. Thank you, Margot. I know Jason gave. Thank you, Jason. I know John gave. Thank you, John. Steve gave. Thank you. Brian gave too. Thank you so much, guys. All the people who gave. Tim gave. Thank you, Tim. A lot of people gave. I appreciate the what you did. We actually made it. I feel good now. I can tell my donor this is good. Literally, we just bought a poll. So now we can start working on this and try to get a decent poll. Let's hope it's a good poll. But you know what? To be fair with you, what if it's a bad one? What if it's a bad poll and I don't do very well? It's still good because the fact is we want to make sure that I'm in the polls and that becomes the norm. We want people to say, why isn't Larry Sharp in this poll? He's been in every other poll. So we have to get me in the polls no matter what. I hope we do well. And I'm out there doing my best. I'm out there, as you see, traveling to the best of my ability. I'm out there calling people. I'm doing this. I'm trying my best to keep this going to the best of our ability. And I hope we do very well. So we'll hope we do well. But even if we don't, doesn't matter. In the poll is the first step. Winning the poll, hopefully, is the next. We'll see how that works. So I'm going to take a couple more seconds on this. Just last piece, which I think is kind of funny is a bad word. Odd is what I'll say. She wants to make sure that nursing homes have enough staff. So they're going to send a National Guard in.
So how do we boost bed capacity? First of all, that's why I signed this executive order on Friday.
She signed an executive order declaring a state of emergency. That's how we fix the hospital. So she fired the unvaxxed, doesn't allow for any more hospital beds, and then says, man, if only someone had enough power to fix this, I guess I'll sign an executive order. And the executive order, of course, limits non-essential,
this allows us to have
procedures.
The flexibility, what we call the surge and flex strategy. And one area.
The surge and flex strategy. Boy, does that sound good.
We have power now to do this is to limit non-essential, urgent, non-urgent scheduled procedures at specific hospitals that have the limited capacity. Again,
So she has fired people so that there's not enough bodies. And with not enough bodies, those people now, those hospitals in those areas, you can't do non-essential and non-urgent scheduled procedures. Now, the problem with that is, if you remember last time it happened, what happened? People stopped getting colonoscopies. People stopped getting monitored for heart issues. And what happened? More people died. More people died. Not just that. How about those people who are trying to break their addictions, which is huge across New York State, across the entire country? Well, they can't go and get their follow-ups either, can they? Because that's not essential. That's not urgent until they now overdose and die.
Know exactly the hospitals. We're talking about probably 32 to 36 hospitals right now that fall into that category of having 10% or less bed capacity. So we can micro-target those as well.
We can because the only person who can figure out how to make this work is her. It failed under Cuomo. It will fail under you. Centralized control doesn't work. It never has worked and still won't work.
Or those areas where we're determined by the Department of Health as needing additional capacity. And, we're having regular conversations. I can't tell you all the conversations that are going on with health departments.
You could just go fix the economy. I mean, I get it. We're working so hard to make sure that we crush you all under our boot. You could just go fix the economy. That would be something.
Various health professionals
stop
and local
the black
health
market
agencies with our health
stop
team here
inflation
in Albany and in New York City.
So
beginning on December 3rd, elective procedures at these short-staffed hospitals will cease. And
listen to that. What does that actually mean? That means if you live upstate and you're not wealthy, you cannot get whatever health care that you want. If you're poor. Yeah. Or middle class. Middle class, working, poor. You can't get it. What if you're wealthy? You fly where you want to fly and you get the health care you want. This is literally just a punishment of the middle class and below. That's all socially. That's all it is. If you're doing very well economically, or if you're doing very well, if you're very wealthy, you go where you want to go. Who stops you? No one. But when you can't afford to hop on a plane and fly someplace, or you can't afford to leave your job for a couple of weeks and drive to some other state, when you can't do that, you're just screwed. If you're wealthy, all good. No worry. All good. That's what this actually does. It's not helping anybody. It's hurting people who are not wealthy. That's all it's doing.
We'll reassess that again January 15th. Now,
she'll decide if you get to go.
Key to success. If they're able to secure the necessary capacity and their bed capacity goes up, we don't have to wait until January 15th. We're not going.
See how good she is? She will let you go get regular health care. That's how good she is.
Just have a hard and fast rule that doesn't show some injection of reality into it. If they're able to manage this, they can get in supplemental staffing. They can address this, and we're working with them on.
They can get in supplemental staffing. See, she said that she actually said the quiet part out loud. Where was the staffing part? Did she mention staffing? She mentioned beds. Now she actually mentioned staffing because that's the problem. It's actually staffing.
There's no reason why it has to go into them, but I wanted to give a range of time frame that we're looking at.
You are a generous
God. If it's still bad January 15th, we'll institute again. This is the flex.
We'll just if you guys just don't do what I tell you, you don't get to have health care. Sorry, you just don't get to have health care. I wonder why people are leaving New York. Huh. Weird. I don't know why. You can't have health care unless you're wealthy. Literally, you don't get it unless you're wealthy. Sorry.
Flexibility that I need to have as the governor to address this situation. So we'll reassess on January 15th.
Oh, God, I'm so glad you've been
essential procedures will continue, and people who need cancer treatment, mammograms, colonoscopies, have traumatic injuries, heart surgery, they will get the care they need. Again, many of those procedures to detect for cancer, mammograms, for example, colonoscopies, they also can be performed at other places other than hospitals. We want to.
So you got to go find somebody other than a hospital, correct? Who can do that? Yeah, the wealthy.
Make sure that no one puts off critically important preventative procedures, as well as happened during the pandemic, the first wave around the summer.
Yes, the first wave, that's what happened. So why would you even imagine doing it again? You're actually admitting it. Yes, the first wave, that's what I said happened. You're admitting it. And now, we'll just do it again, but this time it'll be okay. What you're missing is this becomes habit forming. This is the part you don't get. This becomes habit forming. If we stop doing these things, then we get into the habit of not doing them. And that's when we all suffer. This is not a good idea.
Second wave, and that ends up having long-term health consequences, and perhaps that's one of the reasons we're dealing with a lot of people in the hospital now. One of the other factors.
Oh, that might be the factor why. So you mean it's not COVID? It's the fact that you locked us all down? Is she saying the quiet part out loud? See, whenever she goes off script, she went off script just there. She went off script, and right now her hand is like, Shut up. Don't say that. Shut up. But yeah, she went off script and actually said, yeah, it's probably because we screwed up last time. And that's why people are in the hospitals now. So because of that, we're going to screw up again. So what if we did it, but again, exactly the same way? How about that? Will that be better this time if we just did exactly the same thing all over again? That's what I'm dealing with, guys. That is my glorious governor. That's what I'm dealing with. Saying the quiet part out loud and then just walking by like nothing. Because, whatever. Shona says, when the rich wage war, it's the poor who die. Yes, absolutely. Michelle says, I know I'm watching my husband suffer home due to this. Yes. 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 It's the wrong answer. Absolutely. It's the wrong answer. It makes me upset. I can't stand it, but I get it. Yes. All right. Hold on. Let me go down here if I can. All right. Shannon says the panic and fear mongering is so bad. No one wants to think healthcare anymore unless it's COVID. Thank you, Shannon. This is the habits. This is a cultural change. When you spend so much time doing this, there's an actual change to how people start thinking in any given environment. You're right. She's not getting that. If you keep telling people to postpone, it's not important, people stop doing it. If you keep telling people, if you come to the hospital, you're coming to the hospital, someone else is dying of COVID because you come. They don't want to come. They don't want to be responsible for killing somebody. Or if they think the hospital is full of COVID, I'm scared. I don't want to go to the hospital. This is nothing but bad, bad, and bad. Nothing but bad, right? Just, it drives me crazy. It's nothing but bad, and we just don't seem to care. Varia says we need to shame her on people who die because her mandates. Sounds like end of 2020. Yes. Yes. She's the same. I agree. Well, guys, thank you so much for giving me a little bit of your evening. I know I was late coming on tonight, but I was doing other things. I was literally on the phone calling. That's what I do literally every day. I'm on the phone calling people. We had a great couple days. A lot of people gave 4 figures yesterday, 4 figures today. That's how we got so close to our goal. I came on the last minute asking you guys to help out, and you did. We were less than $1,000 away, and you guys came through. Thank you so much for this. We made our 20K. It is a victory. This is a poll. We'll get a poll out probably by January, maybe December, but probably by January. We'll get a poll out. We'll be able to make things happen. This is going very well. Thank you all for the few times, the time you gave me. Thank you all for the money you gave me and all support you've given me. I appreciate this tremendously. As you know, one of the most important things, and I'll end with this. So many people talk about 2018 and say, well, Larry, I didn't want to do this. I didn't want to do that. And I was scared to vote for you and blah, blah, blah. Here's what I would ask you. From 2018, all the governor candidates, who's still here? Me. If you supported me then, I hope you see it was worth it. If you supported me then, I hope you see I supported you back. If you supported me then, I hope you see I didn't give up on you. You didn't give up on me. We're still going. You see that? We're still going. I hope you support me again. And I hope I've proven, I hope I have, that I'm still going to keep fighting. That it's worthy investment, that not only can we keep going, but I keep going, others can keep going, and we keep this whole idea of maybe saving the state and maybe even saving the country. Thank you guys so much. Great talking to you. I'm going to be gone. Sadly, I have an issue in my family, and a severe illness in my family that I have to take tomorrow off to go handle that. I'll be gone tomorrow for the entire day, but I'm back in action on Thursday and Friday. I will see you all in a couple days.